a save, my guy.
Yo, what's up, Ori and the Blind Forest fans out there? How are you doing today? My name is Trojan Dew 12, and I'm joined by Meldon Tarragon to bring you this next match. How are you doing today, Meldon?
I'm doing great. Very excited for all of the matches today, and very excited to be commentating this one with you.
Yeah, definitely, man. And we've got a good one. We've from the Ginso Tree group, we've got Shed versus SkyFouxx, and this is going to be Shed's first match. Sky just had their first match yesterday, and actually got a PB in that match, even though lost by about a minute to Brynhold. So really interesting stuff going into this one.
Yeah, definitely. And for a little background on Shed, he has a PB of 30 right now. 30-24, so a very impressive time for a runner that's only been playing the game for a little less than a year. He started back in March in the middle of last tournament. Was really excited to see that and wanted to join in this time. Sky's been playing for longer. I think you said started around the same time as you.
Yeah, that's correct. Started in the fall of 2016, and then was in the first tournament as well. Just got again the PB of 36.58 in the match yesterday. And the cool thing about this is we're going to see another KBM versus controller matchup with Shed on KBM and Sky on controller. They will be all going for the same stuff, and got a chance to talk to them a bit before the match, and both of them are not very confident in their fast stomp list right now, which should provide a little bit of interest at that point in the middle of the run.
Yeah, definitely. Also, Shed's listed as only taking 2 extra health cells, but we know, here we are, race about to start. When talking with him, he might be going for a third, depending on how the race is going and if he wants the extra safety. So we might see nearly identical strats out of both the runners.
Yeah, definitely. As we are off to the races now, and both of them got a clean prologue skip, so no 1 or 2 second time losses right at the beginning.
Yeah, and I expect it'll be synced nearly exactly all the way up to sign, and then we might see some divergence after that.
Yep, definitely. Other commentators have brought up before, but this early game right here can be very, very deadly at the start because you don't really have the energy to make safety saves at the start. So any sort of missed experience or any sort of deaths will really cost you.
Yeah, definitely. These first 2 splits all the way through to a dash, they kill a lot of runs because there's just so many little things you can mess up that will cost you a lot of time.
As we see Shed showing a little bit of hearts with the mouse cursor, giving some love to the Ori fans out there.
And as expected, they are nearly identically synced with those sign explosions. As we go into our Frankie fight, we'll see how both our runners do with their mashing and scrolling.
Yeah, looks like Sky had a little bit of a cleaner fight, so I came out of that little map check right there a little bit quicker. But Shed does get the 1 frame jump right there. There's like a little tiny area right before that bramble you could jump on, and you'll be able to make it all the way up on the platform.
Yeah, and we've mentioned this before, but both our runners will be very carefully watching their XP and taking some intentional damage through here. Getting down to 1 HP here can save you just a little extra time and give you that slight advantage going into wall jump.
Man, they were like frame for frame right there for a few seconds. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, Sky having a little bit of trouble with that damage boost and was at 2 HP, so loses a little bit of time in the water there, but otherwise still very close.
Yeah, definitely. And both of them going for this optional 4 HP at the start of the game. You'll see most people take this. Provides a lot of safety, and it only costs 8 seconds at the start.
Yeah, definitely. There's almost no reason. It's slightly slower than some of the later health cells, but having that extra health, and especially the health refill after that ghost door, is so nice to have. Um, I wanted to bring up Sky had a little bit of trouble dropping down through one of the platforms or one of the mushrooms, and it's always so difficult because you have to hit down and jump at the same time to drop through the platforms, and sometimes the game just decides to jump instead of going down.
Yeah, there's a pretty tiny window right there. You have to like let it pretty much say, okay, you're on the ground, especially when you don't have like the stomp ability this early. It's a little more finicky for some reason, especially on the mushrooms. I find those to be the perpetrators a lot of the time.
And both our runners grabbing the wall jump tree here. They'll grab the second energy from the left before heading on out and out to Blackroot. And there will be a slight divergence in what they'll be doing in Blackroot. Shed goes for the Genocide slime route, where he'll be killing a bunch of slimes to get enough XP. Whereas Sky will be just grabbing a 100 XP orb, and we'll be using that to get all of the XP.
Yeah, we also saw a little bit of divergence right here. Sky opted to take the level up on the way down to kill the brambles, whereas Shed did on the way out. There's not really too much of a difference. Based on experience, it's more optimal to do it on the way out, but you can always make up for it with killing additional slimes in BRB later.
And especially, it's more important for the Genocide route that Shed did get that level up on the way out, as he wants to collect as much experience, ambient experience as possible through here. So getting the extra XP from those brambles is nice.
All right, we're gonna. Oh, Shed. That's right. The Genocide takes that 15 right there. I almost forgot about that. That's a little bit of a divergence as well, in addition to killing additional slimes. And we're going to see both of these guys taking their save anywheres right here, as they're going to skip over this little 25-second cutscene going into BRB.
Yeah, and we may see some brief lead changes throughout BRB due to these divergences in routes. And until they get to Dash, we kind of won't know who's in the lead.
Yeah, so Shed's going to be taking this a bit slower here, but what this is going to allow him to do is skip over this jump up that Sky's going to have to do after getting the orb. So that's where you make up a little bit of the time with that. And it looks like Shed got over fine. Sky did the same as well.
Yeah, neither runner's having any trouble with those initial platforms that can sometimes be a little finicky. You're not intended to come back that way, so that last jump is not something that the game wants you to be doing.
Nice little dodge on the spider shot there from Sky. Actually, don't usually see that shoot right at where you're kind of walking, but great adjustment by Sky.
And Shed is now up and doing his platform manipulation so that he does not have to wait for this next platform. He has to do this a little differently because he needs to kill the left slime here. So we'll see if that all works out correctly. I always find this to be a little tricky if you're doing this route.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a different approach with the Genocide. I definitely have to get rid of that muscle memory. Shed gonna make it? Yes, Shed does make the cycle well, so that was a really good job by Shed. Sky is doing his manipulation on the right. Let's see if Sky gets it on the way back down from this lantern.
It looks like Sky is set up perfectly on XP for Frankie Walk. Shed will still need to collect a couple more slimes on his way out before he is within that 19 XP window.
Yeah, it looks like Sky actually had a pretty docile manip right there. So, a little bit on the safer side. So nothing wrong with that. Only loses you a couple seconds, but it's better than having to wait for the next platform cycle.
Yeah, definitely. And Shed has skipped the darkness cutscene, and he will be collecting Dash momentarily as Sky is just about to start the SA for that skip. And as soon as Shed has Dash, he's going to be zipping his way on out of BRB.
Yeah, looks like Sky got their darkness cutscene skip as well. Shed gets the last slime it needs right here, and we'll be heading on out.
Yeah, so he should be good to do his Frankie walk, and hopefully everything goes smoothly there. It's not a especially difficult trick, but the Frankie sometimes doesn't always want to cooperate with you.
Yeah, and another thing with Frankie Walk, that's a kind of an issue because you're okay. You can kind of see on Sky screen. So Sky actually took an additional damage on accident. Is going to is going to go over for this health cell right here for some extra security. Hopefully, he can kill the slime first. Oh no, Sky. Oh God. All right. Still fine. Is that two? But essentially there's an area of the spikes where you only take one damage. So that's makes it kind of a big deal. But you have to be very, very careful with this jump coming up for Sky. Because the rest of the spikes do too.
Shed is through the Death Gauntlet. He has made his safety save before Grotto, so he will not be redoing the Frankie Walk. He's now coming up on his attempt at the fast Grotto cycle. He pauses, dashes, and looks like he gets it. So that's a great 8-second time save for him there. We'll see how that goes for Sky and whether or not he can stay even on that trick.
All right. Yeah, Sky got through there fine as well. I think is trying to, get mentally back into it a little bit after that little bit of a flub up. But looks to get through the Death Gauntlet perfectly fine. Opts to not take a safety save right there. It's going to take it here instead, right as falling down the grotto. As now Shed has double jump, is going to do this blind movement.
Sky is not successful with the early grotto cycle. Looks like he may have dropped a jump on the wall there. All these walls here, especially without double jump, are very difficult to jump on. All the little nooks and crevices can just catch Ori and refuse to let you jump. And our runners don't quite high five as Shed is going up above where Sky is as he begins his attempt on grotto skip. His first attempt's not successful here.
All right, gets it on. I believe that was the fourth try for Shed. So getting that pretty decently. It's a pretty finicky jump right there. So getting it with the first few tries is always really good.
Yeah, definitely. And he skips these falling rocks, making this segment a lot easier, although the jumping is still very difficult. And some nice ninja jumps out of him as he gets to the top there.
Yeah, so ninja jumps are really cool. Oh, Sky takes a death on the spikes over there. Got a little bit of an Eden jump right there. I think went away from the wall a little bit early. And it's going to take it a bit slower this time. Good call by Sky. And I think should be good up here. It's probably going to take a safety save. Nope, maybe not. Okay. I guess once you get past those last spikes, it's probably not that bad to just kind of let it go.
Yeah, and you know that you're going to be taking a save just after grotto skip. So, and Sky does get that first try. Nice job.
Oh, gets a little bit of the double jump roll to help him out right there. So really good job by Sky to get it first try.
I know that Shed said that he was a little worried about his movement through this area and Ginso, and knew that it just wasn't quite as good as it could be. So we'll have to see if he has any difficulty, makes some mistakes, or maybe goes for some extra safety saves in Ginso.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I'd say the Ginso entry split is one where it's not like really hard as far as tricks, as a Shed takes some really costly damage right there. That's not gonna be good for when you try to go into Ginso. But essentially, a lot of micro optimizations, no really big tricks except for grotto skip, and even that's kind of a micro optimization of going off a wall.
Does get a nice save for that cutscene skip, landing in just the right spot, and he is now at the Ginso tree. Although he's at 1 HP, as you mentioned, he took that earlier damage, so he cannot afford to take any more damage through this section of the Ginso tree.
Yeah, and Sky took damage too. I believe Sky is at 2, so must have gotten a health drop somewhere. So that's gonna be good. So Sky can damage boost through Gandalf over here,
and does do that successfully. If you don't count your HP correctly, that slime can be a rude awakening if it kills you. Nice movement from Shed through that Gamer room. He is successfully into the third room of Ginso, going this upper route by the spider. He does get through that successfully.
We got an update from our stats guy that Shed is actually 5 seconds ahead of PB at entering Ginso. So really good pace right now for Shed.
That's very exciting. I know I was talking with him and he said that he has some plans for changing up his routing if he is on PB pace coming into the late game. So I'm excited to see him pull out all the stops and really try and get that 29.
Not just all the stops, getting some swag headbanging right there on the edge of the log as waiting for the cycles in the puzzle room. Oh, and Sky actually doesn't get the rekindle right there, so has to watch this entrance cutscene with Gumo. Taking the water vein away, except we already have the water vein. Sorry about that, Gumo.
And a nice mini boss from Shed. I'm not very good at counting, but oh, looks like our stats people are better at counting than me. So it was a 5 cycle, which is about what you'd hope to get in that mini boss. And Shed now making his way towards this next ghost door after picking up these last keystones. And then he will be collecting Bash, which is a very fun skill to have in this game.
Ooh, a nice little difference in strat right here from Sky, opting to dash glide off of that that far right platform. Normally people will go up to the very top one on the right and go from there, but does a little bit of a difference. That's kind of a cool strat I haven't really seen for many people.
There's so many ways to do that room. It's always interesting to see what people choose and what they have easier time with. And Shed continues to gain a little bit of time on his PB. He's now 9 seconds ahead at Bash.
Yeah, Shed is just on blistering pace right now.
Yeah, it's been almost mistakeless this run. There was the 4th try grotto skip, but otherwise he's been just getting everything nearly perfectly.
Including the key dupe that you just saw on your screen as well. There's just a little bit of a nook right there that you have to go get into to get close enough to the door. There's a bunch of different ways you can do it. Most of the top runners will do it that fast way like you saw on Shed screen. But a lot of the newer runners, what they'll do is you can actually get to where the edge of that log is that on the floor, and you can jump with the neutral input, and it'll move you to the left by a pixel at a time. It's much, much safer to get into that spot.
Yeah, the positioning on that is very precise. You need to be within reach of the door, but you also need to be able to damage on the spikes in order to do that key dupe. And despite Shed's worries, his Ginso went very smoothly, so he's now headed towards Swamp Entry and has been just showing off this game.
Yeah, he's actually now 9 seconds ahead at Bash. And with all of that movement right there, I'd say probably keeping that Bash time delta, if not a bit more, as we see Sky now getting Bash for himself. Is going to go up and do this redirect puzzle room that I always really like in this run. It's one of those things like, okay, this game
Shed does take a death here.
Oh, yeah.
He threw the frog into the water and intentionally killed himself to redo this blind movement. He's now attempting Swamp Entry again. He does get the frog over. Oh, no, he drops. That's so unfortunate.
Showing a lot of displeasure right there for that, with a lot of mouse waving on the screen.
Yeah, I'm sure he's looking at his splits and knew how much ahead he was. He does get it correctly this time. He is going for the double bash method, so he's going to follow this shot on down, double bash it across, and he has broken the ceiling and is successfully through Swamp Entry.
Yo, that one was close, though. That actually went to the top side of the ceiling and broke it from there. So that was really close to just phasing through, like we saw in the last match a couple times.
Yeah, those shots can be very finicky. A frog and the shot can both fall through the first and the second ceiling there. So if you're unlucky, that trick can just decide it doesn't want to work today.
As we see Sky going for their second mini boss kill right here. and we'll be heading over to Grotto. We'll have to see if Sky decides to do the blind movement or not. I've seen a lot more people opt to just let the lasers play so they don't die to that blind movement. There is a little bit of a risk to it. If you decide to do that blind movement and you die during the end of it, it'll actually void you, and you have to reload the game a few times for it to work itself out.
Personally, I'm much more worried about those lasers, and I'll just take it a little safe in the blind movement.
Yeah.
And Shed having no trouble with this revisit to the frog to grab this ability cell here. He did lose some time on his PB, not surprising with those swamp entries. But we'll let you know if he is able to catch up any of that over the next couple splits. Nice, he is successfully through the Kuro cutscene skip. Almost looks like nothing happened. And he is not going for this health cell here, so he'll be on 4 health going into Sorrow.
Yep, is going to get this 5th energy, though, which I believe most everyone will be taking. Also, this little optimization damage boost right there. As we see Sky going for their swamp entry right now. Gets the frog in a good position. Nice job. That's a controller-only strat to get it because they can't double vash as consistently. Oh, takes a bit of damage right there. It's going to get up to the ceiling and then grabs it and gets it. First try. Oh, good God, Sky. Just barely dodging out on that second shot, which would have killed him right there.
Yeah, making me very nervous through that, but Sky is fine and is now successfully through the key door on the way to Stomp. Shed, on the other hand, has picked up Charge Flame. He has skipped his Spirit Tree cutscene. He will be getting his entry into Valley. Like we mentioned at the start, both these runners were nervous about Fast Stompless, so we'll see how that goes for Shed, as that is the next big trick that's coming up.
Yeah, this is one of also my favorite splits to do with movement-wise, probably right after Misty. Just a lot of really cool like chaining of air dashing and wall jumping and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's an interesting segment of the game because you get charge dash very quickly after this, right after Fast Stompless. So there's just this brief period of time where you have only air dash and you have kind of this very unique movement through this section. Shed is now to the top. He is waiting on the shot. Looks like he didn't like that first one. It was a little too low to the ground. And the second shot looks good. So he's now making his way back down. Spider has shot. And he is successful, so despite his worries, that trick went fine.
Yep, nailed it first try. Should be confident, hopefully, after pulling that off in a tournament race.
And Sky was having a little trouble getting the right timing on that frog shot, but does get a successful Kuro cutscene skip, so definitely worth waiting on the third shot to go for that.
Yep, and Obsta puts down a safety save before going to this 5th energy, because all of these spikes under here, if you mess up, they are insta-kill spikes. You have no chance to correct yourself, so it's good. As we see Shed going over to Sarabash, gets this extra energy for later on in Sarabash to optimize some save points. Is going to do it. Can get it on first try. It looks like gets through. Very clean and nice from Shed right there.
Of course, he's not through yet until he makes a safety save. If he dies, he has to go back and redo that trick. Looks like he will be doing the Terror Break route. I was curious if he would end up going for Sea Juggle to try and save a little extra time. But looks like he's just going to play it safe. And he starts this long SA for that Terror Break as he goes to collect his Charge Jump tree.
Yeah, I'm liking this synced up SA in two completely different areas.
It's surprisingly easy in this game, as we have a number of essays we do throughout the game.
And I'm just gonna reiterate what Shed is doing right now at the back with these stomp canceling and stuff is is extremely hard to optimize when you have the obscurity of the ability menu in front of you.
Yeah, just remember, if you can't tell exactly what he's doing, he might not be able to tell exactly what he's doing. He is successfully through, has dodged all the lasers, and is floating up to the top here. where he will collect the Sunstone so that we can get into the third and final dungeon, which we won't be doing. And Sky on the right is just about to do Fast Stompless, so hopefully that goes as smoothly as Sheds did. We'll be collecting this last cell before starting the bashes off these spiders up to where that shot will be launched from.
Yeah, Sky's going to be coming up for their Fast Stompless right now. Since we have a little bit of time to talk about this until Shed... Oh, missed the XP right there. All right, Sky's shot looks good. His movement was a bit slow coming out of that. We'll have to see if that affects him. And... Oh, doesn't get it. Unfortunately, the shot probably hit the ceiling. Didn't, like, deload it quick enough.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in this trick, and if any of them go wrong... Oh, and interesting, I don't think I've seen that setup with that, like, crouch before the bash there. That shot is successful. Shed is just tearing his way through Misty. He's now to the first keystone. We'll see if he goes for any safety saves through here, but given his PB, I'm expecting this is just... Oh, he does, actually.
Yeah, interesting placement for it. I guess with people who go 3 HP, it's better to do... Oh, is doing a little bit of a cutscene skip setup right here. This is a tiny, tiny, tiny optimization. We found a new setup for it really recently. That setup was actually used in a complete different category. Oh, Shed, watch out for those spikes, buddy. And does eventually get through them and gets to the climb tree safe and sound.
Yeah, it's fun to see those tiny little optimizations. That's not a very long cutscene, and reloading does take some time. But it's very fun to see.
Well, we got an update. Apparently, Shed is only 2 seconds behind their climb, but ooh, a death to that suicide slime right there is going to cost him probably about 8 seconds right there, 8 or 9 seconds, and has to do all this that movement again.
Sky is still attempting Sorrow Bash. Looks like he is successful this time, and he is through to that next bird. Till he makes a safety save again. He will get sent back to having to redo that trick if he dies. Ooh, that rocket jump didn't quite work as intended. Does get the second one. We'll see if the shot's high enough. It is not. He can grab this extra energy here, but each of these rocket jumps cost 1 energy, so he will run out at some point. Looks like this ceiling break is successful. Checking his energy, it looked like he had 1 more, so we'll see if he takes a safety save at the top here.
Yeah, does opt to do that as Shed is going and getting that last keystone that you need to finish off Misty. Gonna throw off a couple more rocket jumps right here. And gets this last one. Man, I absolutely love that last one. It's just like you're weaving right through all these dangerous spikes. And it's just some Matrix slow-mo right there. And a nice quick hill as well.
So we're being informed that Sky is also ahead of PB at Feather. Did have a little bit of trouble with Sorrow Bash, but that's kind of not unexpected. So we'll see if he's able to keep up on that pace through the rest of the run. And Shed is on his way out of Misty, having gone through the final keystone door. And he just has 1 more skill to collect.
Yep, and that is Light Grenade, which is going to allow us to do some nifty hyperspeed wall jumps called grenade jumps, where you have to throw off a grenade and a charge jump off a wall within a frame of each other. And it's very, very precise, because who doesn't like frame perfect tricks?
Indeed. We have a number of them in this route. And we'll see if Shed goes for any fancier grenade jumps other than just the final one that's kind of the big time save. As he's doing this long SA through these lasers, and looks like he does successfully make it through all of them. Did not die to those, as they are instant kill. And this helps him save a little time by even being able to just jump right into that cutscene to skip it.
Yep, indeed. It also saves an energy and some setup time, so it does save quite a few seconds to do that. It's just a little spooky.
Shed very confident in all of these essays, doing the one through Dorito Cave and then this one through the lasers here. So.
Oh man, dude, Sky getting some Wilhelm frog going on over there as it's screaming as it falls off the ledge. Man, poor Wilhelm. Oh my God, is Shed going for this grenade jump? Oh my God, Shed, you madman! Good Lord.
What a fun grenade jump that looked like. He does take a little bit of damage from the spike, so he'll probably be only on 2 HP going into Horu Fields, but you can reasonably expect to not take any more damage given charge dash and bash cancels.
Yep, did actually get a couple of health drops, I think, right there as stomped through that swarm. Oh, and runs out of energy right there, so goes back to get that 2 that fell. Very smart thing because the rest of it is really slower without energy, so it was worth the time to go back and get that extra energy.
It looks like the energy didn't quite magnet to him, and then oh wow, that was close.
Oh, good God.
Nice grenade jump though, and he is at the door to Horu. Playing it real close with that lava there.
I'm not gonna lie, my backside clenched a little bit right there on that one.
Indeed.
Also note, Sky's making really good time right now. Oh, unfortunately kills the frog, but it's still making really good time at climb.
And Shed does get first try grenade, or not grenade jump, door war, the other one frame trick. And he is through to the final escape, and he's going very fast through this section. He did opt for 5 health here, so that's kind of the minimum amount of health that you can take in order to get through this water. So he needs to have very precise swimming at the very end to not die.
Yeah, I think if Shed has an absolutely perfect escape, it's possible Shed could PB by about 1 or 2 seconds, but it has to be perfect. So coming up over here, going into the little switchback section of these logs, is gonna do some gonna do this precise setup on the stomp. I think is gonna be fine. Yes, gets out of the water. Is gonna try and get up to get this first try grenade jump. And let's see if he gets it first try, gets the setup. Adjusting it a little bit, and we are in there. GG to Shed.
And on the right, Sky having a fairly successful back half of Misty. Having a little trouble with his mini boss, but did go for some nice grenade or rocket jumps earlier on here. The one just before the grenade shaft and the one in the meatball shaft. Not grenade shaft, meatball. I don't know why. I just want to make everything grenades. It's just such a great skill now that you can do grenade jumps with it.
You know, if I was Shed right now, I'd be really happy about that that time in your first tournament race ever for All Skills. That was an incredible showing from Shed. Getting some optimizations in as well, and coming in with a final time. Looked like a 30:53. We'll have to confirm that on the timer later, but that's an incredible run by Shed.
Sky is now teleporting back to Glades to go back to BRB for the revisit for Light Grenade. Being told it's a 30:52, so a very solid time.
Yeah, Sky's coming into back into the BRB revisit right now to get Light Grenade. It's still on a pretty decent pace right now. I don't know how it is compared to PB currently, but it seems like has had a pretty overall clean Misty to keep up this pace.
Yeah, definitely. It does get this early cycle on these lasers. Oop, misses a charge jump there, but does end up getting up to the top here for this cutscene skip. And uses the shot from the sit-shoot shark up above to bash his way on into that cutscene. A nice use of that the environment around him.
Yep, that guy can be a bro at times. Also can be a bro when the bird is annoying you and can just snipe that bird out of the air.
Oh yeah, he can be very useful at times. And with that, Sky now has all of the skills in the game and just needs to go finish the final escape. Oh, nice grenade jump to get out of here. Uses that to get through the slow zone for the cutscene that he had just skipped. And opting not to go for that rocket jump, having missed the early cycle on that laser. Not worth smashing your head into the laser above you.
All right, it's gonna go and grab this HP over here to bring him to, I believe, 5. A little bit of trouble on that jump, but gets up to the health cell perfectly fine. It's gonna be TPing back to to Thornfeld Swamp to go into Horu Fields.
Looks like he nearly selected the top of the Ginso tree, which would have not been the best thing.
No, man. There's no way you could possibly ever teleport to the wrong area, right?
Never happened.
We did get an update. Sky was 15 seconds ahead of the PB he just got yesterday at Grenade, so on an incredibly good pace right now. And is going to opt for the 6 HP.
Yeah, I think that's a good decision. The swimming section is very difficult with 5 HP, so especially in a tournament setting, it makes a lot of sense to go for either the 6th HP there or the one earlier by the spiders. Ooh, having a little trouble with those elementals, but is able to get the shot. Looks like, oh, is going for this grenade jump. It's not successful first try. Second try is not successful. Looks like Sky will give up on that and just charge jump and rock or charge dash on his way over to the door.
All right, and let's see if Sky can get a first couple try door warp right here.
A lot of first try door warp so far today. It's very impressive. This is not an easy trick to do, given that it's 1 frame.
A little bit late on that second try. I think Sky does opt for the mash method. Gets a 3rd try. Really great job by Sky right there. So we'll be spawning Kerr right here and starting the final escape. If can go through here, we'll possibly get another really solid PB again, just like a day after another one. So please take energy, Sky.
And he's off through the first room, through the second room, into this third room, the lasers. And does get a good cycle, so we'll be able to go right through that. And having no trouble with the escape so far. And we'll have a slightly easier time with this swimming section. Does not need to manipulate this fish into the correct position. Goes straight for the stomp. And Sky is through the final escape. Very clean. And now has stopped Crow from spawning, so just needs to get this last grenade jump to finish.
In the position right, tries for the first one, doesn't get it. Oh, come on, Sky. He's got one more attempt at this. Let's go, Sky. Oh, doesn't get it. Oh, and I think unfortunately that means it's not going to PB because of that. But still a great run by Sky. Just right after another PB yesterday. So GG to Sky.
Yeah, very impressive run. Unfortunate that the last grenade jump didn't happen. Having limited energy and some of the attempts, depending on how many frames apart you are, can cost energy. So you can only try it so much.
And I believe we are joined by Shed right now for an interview. GG, Shed.
Yo, thanks.
Hey, Shed. GG on the run. Looks like Fast Stompless went successfully. So
yeah, I was happy about that one. I was entirely unsure about that shot. I just kind of let it fly and was like, heck it, let's go.
So I know you mentioned that you were considering some more difficult strats if you were on PB pace, but I'm guessing you decided not to go for them in this?
I kind of half and half did it a little bit. Like, because I was like pretty far behind at Stomp, so I started doing some of the sillier ones, and then I ended up actually ahead at Climb, so I started doing the serious ones again, and then the 2 deaths in Misty, I was just like, alright, I'm done. and went for all the silly things that I was planning on doing.
And to interrupt real quickly, Sky has finished with a final time of 37:14, so a very solid race for him.
Yeah, GG Sky.
Yep, GG to the original Baguette. And Shed, I have another question for you. Were you feeling nervous at all when you were ahead of your PB after Bash and going into Swamp Entry?
Very much so. You can tell my bash angles during the first 2 Swamp Entry attempts were so off. And that was literally just my hand shaking.
Yeah, that can be a finicky trick to do, and those bash angles are very precise, and on mouse when you're aiming them, if your hand's shaking, it's very difficult. So we have the group standings up here. So Shed's now 1-0 with a very solid race time of 30:52. So well done with that.
Thank you very much.
And unfortunately, Sky moves to 0-2, despite the great race time so far, but has had to go up against Shed and Brynholt, who are very formidable opponents. So hopefully we'll have better luck in his third race.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to go up against a Hunter's Pixel for Sky's last race, and Hunter's Pixel is a relatively newer runner, but has been improving a bunch. How are you feeling, Shed, going up against your last 2 ones against Brynhold and Pixel?
Honestly, I'm scared of Brynhold. He took me out in the rando tournament and is notorious for the upsets, so you bet I'll be practicing for it.
Yeah, do you think you'd be looking for revenge for that loss in the rando tournament?
Exactly. Gotta get him back.
Well, I'll be looking forward to that match. All right, well, we do have more races coming up after this, so stick around. The races nearly go on for the rest of the whole day. So if you like Ori, we have a great day for you. And thanks for commentating with me, Trojan. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, pleasure as always, Meldon. And we should be getting set up here in about 15 or 20 minutes, so stay tuned, guys.